welcome to the Acid Trash Jamboree, and to the first Prog and Psych Picks episode in quite a while, where I dust off a handful of albums from the collection and share my thoughts. We start with the one and only self-titled album by After All from 1969. Now, this is one of those that smooshes up so many contemporaneous influences that you'll no doubt be hard-pushed to put your finger on precisely what it reminds you of the most. Personally, I hear everything from the stately, soulful stylings of Procol Harum and David Ackles to the nascent jazz rock fusions of early Chicago and the Doors circa the Soft Parade. The tunes alternating between gloomy, autumnal melancholia, loosely funky grooves, and bursts of altogether more animated, Latin-infused vamping. Highlights-wise, the first four tunes are pretty much all gold, especially the opener, Intangible She, with its gorgeous, classical intro theme, and the downcast, doomy Nothing Left to Do, which floats about in similar depressive waters as the earliest work of British group Mark Almond, not to be confused, of course, with the British solo singer Mark Almond, before blasting off into high-octane organ rock for a bit. The album perhaps tails off a little bit in its second half, offering up a clutch of more consistently upbeat songs that aren't quite as appealing to my taste. Still, these have their moments, then the closer, Waiting, returns us to the minor key moodiness of the opening salvo. All in all, though, this is a very high-quality production, especially when you consider that, After All, weren't really a proper group per se, but rather a short-lived studio project, made up of long-serving club musicians from Florida. Yeah, the quartet were apparently offered some free recording time, coming together for long enough to compose and lay down the 8 songs here, using lyrics provided by a poet named Linda Hargrove. Next, we have Silence Beyond Time, the last album from the original run of Between, a highly innovative group consisting of German, Argentine, American, and Irish musicians, who, as you'd expect, fused many different musical styles to oftentimes spellbinding effect. Now, I actually reviewed the first 3 Between albums a few months back, all of which have proved quite popular with prog and krautrock collectors down the years, and rightly so. This one, on the other hand, released in 1980, is just about their most obscure effort, which is a shame, really. Yes, certainly, if you like the more peaceful, proto-new age direction that the group were heading in circa 3rd LP, Dorana, then there's lots to enjoy here. Many of the cuts drifting by serenely with their trademark feather-light oboe and sax lines dancing delicately on a bed of conga drums. The melodies and rhythms hinting at everything from medieval and early music to Celtic and myriad Asian folk forms. Elsewhere, Between factor in rippling, minimalist piano arpeggios, as on the opener Brainwave and the amazing title piece, whilst things like Two Alone by the Waterphone and the purely atonal bonus cuts, Opus Magnum and Dialogue hark back to their darker, more avant-garde beginnings, the disc wrapping up in a wistful and jazzy fashion with the suitably monikered Last Flight. As I said, this CD reissue from 2007 features a couple of excellent bonuses, bulking out the original's playing time by a quarter of an hour. So yeah, overall this is well worth a go. Next up, here's 1970's The Ultimate Prophecy by J.D. Blackfoot, which is very much an album of 2 halves. Things start out innocuously enough with a clutch of warm and sunny West Coast-style tunes, taking in feel-good country rockers like One Time Woman, and altogether more poignant pieces like Angel, Blackfoot and his band, mostly resembling a more meaty and muscular version of Stalk Forest Group, or contemporaneous Grateful Dead, whilst Good Day Extending Company is a weighty slab of Crazy Horse-styled proto-grunge. Stick around for the second half, however, and it's all change. The title track ushering in a thoroughly bonkers song cycle / mini rock opera. Yeah, for the remainder of the record, we find Blackfoot channeling everyone from Jim Morrison and Eric Burdon to Arthur Brown as he speaks, croons, wails and screams a tale about death and rebirth, whilst the band kick up a bitchin' psychedelic prog storm in the background. Yeah, musically speaking, the loose limb drumming and stinging acid guitars mostly remind me of Love, post Forever Changes. So albums like For Sale and Out Here, definitely not a bad thing in my books. Okay, so the pompous narration sections haven't aged that well, sounding like something Spinal Tap would send up a decade later. But all in all, this is stellar stuff. I haven't heard any of Blackfoot's later work, but I wouldn't mind checking out the follow-up at least, The Song of Crazy Horse. We finish today with another good one, the compilation San Diego's Only Psychedelic Cops by the Brain Police, comprising of their lone long player, which was initially only released as a promotional demo in 1968, plus all the 7-inch single sides that the various incarnations of the group managed to churn out in their few short years together. The album itself is the main draw here, offering up a really nice blend of gritty psychedelia, early Bee Gees style baroque pop, and most prominently, a clutch of tunes shot through with a huge dose of R&B and soul influence, all strutting bass lines and smoky vocals, firmly in the Stephen Stills mould. Yeah, there's more than a hint of Buffalo Springfield here, especially on the excellent opening medley of Election for Mayor and Ride My Train of Love. Elsewhere in this technicolor stylistic melting pot, I can hear shades of classic garage psych bands like the Strawberry Alarm Clock, whilst the snaking guitar and organ breaks on I'll Find Love tip their hat heavily to the Doors. Any fuzz guitar fiends out there will most likely want to check out the wigged out blues epic Gypsy Fast Woman and the sludgy, downbeat closer My World of Wax, both of which are heavy enough to pass as proto-metal as far as I'm concerned. The latter song was also recut for use on a single, this version toning down the blue cheerisms, being altogether perkier, featuring tasteful strings and R&B horns. The raunchy horn section stick around for the flip side, Smoking at Windsor Hill, after which we get a bunch more bonus songs from earlier in the decade when the group traded as the Mandells and the Other Four. These start out firmly in that naive beat group vein, gradually getting more sophisticated and sonically interesting, touching on everyone from the Beatles and the Byrds to the Beach Boys and the early Grateful Dead. The highlight coming in the form of the swirly garage nugget Once and For All Girl. So that's what I've got for today. If you've enjoyed this video, please do take a look around the channel for similar episodes. And if you haven't done so already, hit subscribe so you can keep updated on all future content. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you again soon on the Acid Trash Jamboree.